So quick reminder, what are the things that we need to find out outside before we get to this point that we're going to use in our negotiating? Who's the lucky one? What else? How? I guess it's got it written down for you guys. How long? Why this one? What's the first trip? If you guys don't get this information up front, once they get here and you need this information, they're not going to give you this information. They're going to realize this is being used against me, right? So I need to know this information up front, because what happens as soon as you start trying to get that commitment and you go back and forth a couple times and it's more than they anticipated, what's their first go-to? Can I take that with me? Can I go? Let me go talk to the wife. Let me go talk to whoever. Can I get a copy of that? Right? Why is that? Why would they not just sit there and negotiate it out? They're scared. They're scared. That's exactly right. They don't know how to do that. They feel it's confrontational, right or not? Everybody does everything now through their phone, through the computer. So they're going to take that information and they're probably going to go toss that to somebody over the phone and get what they want through the phone. That's where they feel most confident. So I got to make it easy to continue moving forward. And that's where I'll use this information to keep moving forward, right? But if I don't have this information, I have nothing to latch onto. I have to believe what they're telling me because I don't have anything to fight with, okay? Where does our write-up start? Where do we start the write-up? Where's the first place we start discussing the write-up? As soon as we get back from the test drive? On a test drive. On a test drive, yes. If you wait till you get back on the test drive and then everybody gets out of the car and then you got that awkward silence for that 10 seconds, if that, right? And it's whoever speaks first loses and they're going to say, okay, can I get your card? And then you're trying to convince them to come inside and then they don't want to come inside, right? No, that's okay. Just wanted to test drive it today, get an idea. And then you pretend like you're going to go get your card. And then you come back with your manager. And then they got that look on their face that nobody likes, right or not? Set it up on the test drive. Don't wait till you come off test drive. Remember we talked about when we're going through the steps, you're setting up the next step while you're currently in the one you're at. You're always setting up the next one, okay? When I'm doing my demo, I'm telling them what they're gonna expect on the test drive. When I'm doing my test drive, I'm setting up the write-up when we get back. Hey, what do you think of the way this one feels, William?
Feels good.
Perfect. I'll tell you what, when we get back, I'm gonna give you an idea what it takes to own it. You could tell me yes, no, or you want some time to think about it. I'm okay with any of the three. Is that fair enough for you?
That's fair.
Is anyone gonna say not fair enough to that? What are customers here right there? What did you hear right now, Will?
A way out.
A way out. A way out. You're gonna give me everything I want and let me leave with it? Yes, perfect. Not a problem, right? It gets me 100% of my people in the door, okay? When I started selling cars, you were taught to get a commitment outside. And the problem was too many people didn't want to do that yet. So then that wall went up and then you couldn't get them inside to save your fucking life. You know, you wanted some kind of, hey, if I got to your budget, is this the right car for you? If we got to the right payment, would you take this home today? I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, not today. And then you go into negotiating the car deal outside, right? Keep it simple, okay? Hey, when we get back, I'm gonna give you an idea what it takes to own it. You can tell me yes, no. You want some time to think about it? I'm okay with any of the three. Fair enough? You get a 100% yes, you get everybody in the door. That's where you start your write-up, guys. Because the second you come off that test drive and you park, in my mind, the clock just started right now, okay? Speed is gross. I want this process to be as fast as possible. I'm no longer building rapport. That's done. I'm not talking about shit that don't need to be talked about anymore. That's all done. I'm not filling space with filler talk and you know, how was this and where you can play. All that's done. Now it's speed is gross. I got to get through this as quickly as possible and get this to my desk guy so I can get that first pencil in front of that customer while they're still under the highest ether possible. Picture this. You come off the test drive, they're here. Every minute, it's taking a little dip. So the longer I take to get that fucking pencil in front of them, the lower on that ether pole is my customer going to be. Does that make sense? I want to get them at the highest peak possible. Get that first blaster out of the way and then start negotiating the car deal, okay? So speed is gross. Set it up on the test drive so you can walk right into the booth, okay? Now, we're going to take this we're going to do the standard one. We're going to blaze through this one quickly. This is the one you guys all know, okay? But once I sit down, get my information in the CRM, and then I let them know I'm going to go grab our paperwork so we can get started, what am I going to do then? Adam, what's the next thing I'm going to do? I just sat them down. I got all their information in the CRM. All right, Mr. Customer, let me go grab all the paperwork so we can get started.
So I have them read the credit guidelines.
Take the credit guidelines and put them on task. Do me a favor. Look through the credit guidelines here, A, B, C, D. Let me know which one best describes your credit.
You're keeping them engaged there instead of them talking themselves out of a deal.
Are we doing this 100% of the time?
Yep.
Right? Perfect. I come off my test drive. We're going to role play, Sergio, okay? I come off my test drive. Sergio, do you have a chance to look at that credit guidelines?
Yes, I did.
Which one best describes your credit?
B.
B? Okay, perfect. B credit makes my job a lot easier. B credit, the suggested down payment's about 20%. In this case, would be roughly about $6,000. Now, of course, you know the more you put down, the lower your payment's going to be. Were you thinking of 20%, or do you have something else in mind?
I was thinking like 2,500.
2,500? Now, let me ask you this real quick, guys. Has Sergio already told me outside 10 times how much he wants to put down? Yeah. So is it sometimes awkward when I'm looking at him asking these questions when he told me outside 10 times he wants to do it with no money down? That's the difficult part, guys. You have to, there's two transactions. There's a transaction that takes place before the test drive, and there's another one that takes place as soon as you pull up off the test drive. And everything that took place before the test drive goes out the window. That's the challenging part. The hardest part is getting wrapped around your own head. As soon as I come off that test drive, this is a brand new negotiation, and everything that was told prior is out the window. We're starting here, okay? Because when I hit him here, and he's in that ether, I got him here, and I make it seem as if everybody puts 20% down. Is that what you had in mind, or were you thinking a little bit more? What'd you have in mind? Now they're going to dig in their pocket, and they're going to give me everything that would have took me an hour to dig out. I'll get it right now in less than 2 minutes, okay? Now, perfect. $2,500 down. In this case, Sergio, that's going to put me somewhere in the neighborhood between $600 and $700. Of course, depending on credit, term, rate, things like that. Is this the payment you had in mind?
I was thinking like 450.
Like 450? Tell me what most customers are going to say. They're going to say, Curtis, I told you 500 is what I want to pay, right? They told you this 10 times outside, right? 450. Now, I know you mentioned you want to be at 450, Sergio. Let me ask you this. To help get to that 450 payment where you're most comfortable, it may take that 20%. It might even take a little bit more. I'm not sure. But I want to get this as close as I can to the budget you had in mind. Is the 20% available? Is that a possibility so we can get to your payment?
Not today. Maybe like in a week or two, I can put like another 500.
Like another 500 in a couple weeks? Okay. So I'm just put here 500 in 2 weeks. I have to get this approved, but for the sake of moving forward, I'm going to tell them that we can do another 500 in 2 weeks, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what will 500 normally do to my payment right here, guys?
$10 less.
You got to show this. Don't take this and go right back to here. So with 500 more, you get you at 450. You have to continue showing the difficulty of this, okay? The difficulty is what creates the fear of loss, okay? If it's too easy, they'll want to continue shopping and come back when they're ready, okay? If they believe it's available whenever they want it, that makes them comfortable to leave. This makes sense? It's got to be something so good that if I don't take this, I might not get this opportunity again, okay? Now, Sergio, every little bit helps. So this 500 is definitely going to help. Typically what it would do is it would drop my payment about $10. It'd put me like $590 to about $690. Now, I know in a perfect world you wanted to be at 450, but if we needed some help, what would be the absolute most? 450 to what?
I can maybe get to 500, but that'd be the absolute most.
So 500 would be topping it out? Okay. Guys, am I done?
No.
I'm done. I'm done. It's 2 times. Right now, in Sergio's mind, whose side am I on? I'm on Sergio's side. I'm working for Sergio. Okay? Everything I've offered so far is in Sergio's benefit. If I now go back and continue grinding Sergio, this switch is going to flip very quickly, and Sergio is going to realize I'm not on his team. I'm trying to get everything I can out of Sergio, right? The moment your customer starts thinking you're asking questions for your benefit is the moment they shut down. And then you'll see the attitude change, and they're like, you know what, if you can't do it for 5, that's fine. I mean, I don't have to buy a car today. My car works just fine. And all of a sudden they go into this defensive mode, right? And we all had that happen. What they're nicely telling you right there is, I don't think you're asking on my benefit. I think you're asking on your benefit, and I don't want to cooperate no more, right? So if I go to a third time here, I'm going to blow it, okay? So now it's time to get that commitment and then plant my seeds of doubt on the way out the door, set my bump up, okay? Sergio, here's what I'm going to tell my boss. I'm going to tell him I will buy now at offer. I'll flip my sheet around. Now, keep in mind, Sergio, this is just an offer. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but I promise you, nobody's going to work harder for you than I will. Okay, I'll tell my boss, we can do 25 now, 503 weeks. In a perfect world, we'd be at 450, but no more than 500. Does that sound right? Yes, sir. Let me get your initial right there, and I'll go to work for you. Get my initial on my way out the door. Now I stand up on my way out. By the way, Sergio, I think we might be as close as about $100 away in payment, but I'm going to do my best to get as close as I can for you. Is that fair enough? He says, yeah, that's fair. Now I'm out the door. Now Sergio's thinking or talking to himself about what? How much of that $100 he's willing to close right now. Is this an easy $50 as soon as you sit down, Adam?
300.
Okay. For Adam, it's 300. For the rest of us peasants, maybe 50 or 60, right? Guys, how long did this process take right now? Even with me explaining it, how long did it take? 2, 3, 4 minutes? No more than 5. No more than 5. Some of you guys sit down and you go through this process and we're like, what the hell happened to him? I know you sat down like 30 minutes ago. Is the customer still here and you're still in there? And I'm not sure what you guys are talking about that long, but you're killing your deal. I mean, this ether is going all the way down. And then sometimes after 20, 30 minutes, you come in, hey, they don't want to do anything. We missed that opportunity. It's a 5-minute window, guys. 5 fucking minutes. That's what it takes. It really don't take longer than that. If this takes you more than 5 minutes to get a commitment consistently, then you need to role play this because this is fast, okay? Or maybe you're talking about something that there's no value in what you're doing right now. You're talking about something that doesn't need to be talked about, okay? This is straight to business. Once I get past this part, get this in front of my desk guy, now he's working on the pencil. Now I can come back and talk about something else. Now I can come back and talk about, hey, Sergio, this works out, which I think it's going to. What's the first trip you got in mind? Where do you plan on taking this? Who are you going to take with you? Now what am I talking about? Ownership. Now I'm talking about ownership. And when you start talking about those things, does it not paint a picture in your mind? Now they're already taking ownership of this. They don't want to give it back now. That's the conversation I should be talking about then, while I'm waiting on that first big pencil. Not during this process and burning up that time while my customer's ether is slowly going down like that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I'm sure some of you